if you're not in the gym, you're actually part of the problem.
You are now listening to the PushPress Podcast,
helping gym owners succeed one episode at a time.
Today's episode is brought to you by Bear Bells, which was delicious.
And Burt's Bees. All right, so Dan, last time we were here in San Francisco, you and I did something. We normally always work out whenever we're together, but it's like one day, right? We go to the CrossFit Games, we go on a run together, something like that. The last time we were here, though, we actually got into the gym every single morning that we were here, and we've been working together for what, like 8 years, and I don't think we've ever actually worked out every day for the entirety of a trip. And it got my head spinning, thinking back to the military days of like high-performing teams, embracing fitness, embracing the culture of fitness. So I kind of want to noodle on that a little bit.
Yeah, sounds good.
So I don't think most people actually think about fitness as being a key to team building, right? You do like the trust fall exercises and you'll do like problem solving, but you don't see a lot of companies going like, oh, let's go to a CrossFit gym. Let's go do Fran together. Let's go do Murph together. I'm curious, do you have any thoughts as to why this isn't a bigger part of our culture and what we do in like corporate America?
I mean, I think you can break it down to like the 90-10 rule. Like the 10% of the world who are super into fitness understand all of the good things that fitness brings, not only from an individual standpoint, but from a team standpoint. Mm-hmm. But for the 90% of the people who aren't, that don't live and breathe the day-to-day in the gym stuff, they don't understand it. And like, why would they, right? And I think that's pretty much the microcosm of it.
Yeah. And so if you think through of like, well, what does a high-performing team look like? How does fitness help them? The first thing that come to mind for me, correct me if I'm if you feel differently about any of these, but to me, every high-performing team embraces difficulty, also like the boring and monotonous parts of the job or of the mission, and they endure those things over a long period of time, right? So I know we talk a lot about like infinite games. Well, you need to be able to be in the seat, working the problem for as long as it's going to take to get to the other edge of it and then find the next problem and then unpack it. It's not a short-term sprint, now I can go and rest type of thing, right?
Yeah, I mean, there's something to actually doing fitness, and fitness is a spectrum of a concept, right? But let's just say in general, if you're actually pushing yourself to some degree in your fitness exercise, you're uncomfortable, right? And I think there's something about working alongside somebody or somebodies when we're all uncomfortable that just removes a lot of the bullshit, just strips it down.
Yeah, so it's like you see what that person is about, and I also think that makes it easier to have like a conversation with them that's maybe difficult, maybe a little tougher, because you kind of understand their mettle, like what they're made of whenever they're, pumping on a bike and you're like, damn.
Like I know they're tired, but they're doing that for me because I'm resting or whatever. And I think that's where, like, we haven't even talked about this part of it, but I think something about partner or team workouts really leans into that.
Yeah, so it's not always just like going to the gym together and like you put on your headphones, I put on my headphones, and when
it's not being present in each other's, world. But there's something to. I mean, if I wasn't in the military, so I probably shouldn't make military references, but what I imagine, if you're in a foxhole with somebody, it's like, you got to know when you take your nap, like the person you're in the foxhole with has got your six. Yep. You know what I mean?
Yep.
And there's something to, in the civilian world, I would imagine there's not many things we can replicate really what a military background looks like, but fitness might be one where it's like when you're really at a very uncomfortable position and in a very uncomfortable place, like someone's kind of taking care of you for as best they can.
Yeah, 100%. So if these are the things, if we know that they can help teams perform better, gel better, trust each other better, I guess it would only stand to reason that if you're a part of a team and you want that team to be a high-performing team that can accomplish its mission unlike any other, if you're not in the gym, you're actually part of the problem.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
And being unfit, being unwell, the only thing that can come of it is that you're going to hold your team back. You're going to stop the team from being available to be part of the mission or from persevering through long hours, the boring pieces, the challenging pieces. You are going to be probably the biggest detractor from its success.
Yeah. I mean, the bottom line is if you're not building a team that's willing to go to, I mean, for the lack of a better term, battle, when it's time to go to battle, then, you really haven't built, you can't build a team you can't be like a good, what is the saying? A peacetime general, right? Like you've got to be able to build a team that can go to war too.
And then there's the availability. We were, before we started rolling, we were talking about Anthony Richardson for the Colts. And he, NFL quarterback, takes himself out of a play, where they do like the,
hey man,
I need a breather.
He ran really hard for 20 yards. I mean, and I shouldn't talk shit. I'm not, whatever, but.
I'm not a 6'5" specimen that was run down a field, but also.
He's the general, man.
You got to be there.
He is the general of the team. Like, you can't tap out after one hard sprint.
Exactly. So being available is important.
And what happened to him? What happened to him this week?
Benched.
Right.
So you got to be available. And if a team relies on every single player to play a certain role and one of those is not available, you're kind of hosed. You're not going to get the mission.
Oh yeah, I mean the team is only as strong as the weakest link, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yep. Have you heard of this thing called the deadlift index?
I have not.
Oh dude, hold up. Let me look this up real quick because this is I saw it on one of the social media things, and basically some guy out there created a fictional stock tracking basket of stocks for all of the CEOs who actually work out.
I'm intrigued.
Right? And so let me read this right here. Have you heard about the deadlift ETF? The deadlift ETF is a fictional exchange traded fund ETF that invests in companies led by CEOs who are known for their physical fitness. Goes on to say, so this is like Meta. You've seen Zuckerberg's like a beast lately. Yes. Amazon, Bezos, beast lately. Yeah. Anyway, so track some of these guys. And the deadlift ETF has outperformed the S&P 500 by 140% over the last 4 years.
So invest in companies whose CEOs or leadership have a higher likelihood, or they gravitate towards fitness.
Have put in the work for themselves to do fitness, right? 140% outperformance at S&P. So relative to the S&P, which has had a gangbusters year anyway,
okay,
these companies have also outperformed as well.
All right, can we look up like each and every stock? Like now I want to go in and like invest my own money into this shit.
Yeah, I know.
This is like putting my money where my mouth is.
So yeah, somebody on Twitter actually published this. Like these are the companies and why, examples of the CEO and yeah, like supposedly. And so it says right here. Actually, here's a quote. Michael Johnson, PhD, says the deadlift ETF isn't just a novelty. It's grounded in real performance of companies that have been led by some of the most dedicated individuals in business. Oh, I guess that's not really a quote about fitness.
But regardless, I think the point still stands, right? Like there is something to being available. There's something to doing hard shit. There's something to taking your health seriously. And yeah.
And so the author goes on to say like, basically it just boils down to discipline. Yep. Like if you're willing to, everyone's busy. Everyone only has 24 hours a day. Everyone needs to sleep. Everyone has a family. But if you're willing to take that time for yourself and put it into your own fitness, it shows a level of discipline that clearly pays off, at least in the performance of the companies that these guys lead.
Yeah, 100%. It's one of those things where, quality people index on things they can't buy.
I love that.
Now granted, we're talking about CEOs of these big companies. They can buy anything they want, but you can see that they are indexing on not the toys.
Yeah, and I do think that's the first world problem that these guys face because they can buy everything they want. So there's people out there who can't. So it's like you got to index on stuff you can't buy. But the point is, even with all the money in the world, it's not another yacht or Lamborghini or whatever. These guys they're putting their time and their energy into. It's like their own selves and their families.
Right. So surround yourself with quality people. Surround yourself with fit people. Anything else to add?
I will say we didn't touch on this, but I've kind of issued a proclamation to you guys and to the board on PushPress. They're like, hell, man, I want to literally have the world's fittest executive team. I want to have the world's fittest board. Is that possible? Like, I don't know if Lance Armstrong's company out there has the same proclamation. They'll probably beat us, maybe. But you know what I'm saying? Like, if I'm not saying it, there's a culture around this. Like, if I'm not saying this is my expectation, I expect to wake up in the morning and work out with you, right?
Do you know how often I've heard those words in my head now, ever since you started saying them?
It's just simple, right? World's fittest board.
Yeah. I've done burpees in my garage, like on a Saturday morning, like competitors aren't going to be more fit than us.
Exactly.
Right. But so I think that goes to what you're saying, like it has to be said, it has to be spoken, it has to become part of the culture. And when it becomes part of the culture of what you and the entire leadership team do, it kind of permeates the organization. Next thing you know, things that maybe look like big barriers or obstacles, they're not anymore.
Yeah. And we have it easy because we all come from the fitness background. But I think it's something like it's our job as people who are helping gym owners, as gym owners themselves. It's our job to get out in the world and make sure people understand that, like, hey, this actually transcends just your own personal health. It actually does have ramifications in how you work with your family, how negotiations happen across the table from business people. Like, there's so much more to it. In fact, I ran across this. I'm not gonna be able to Google this in time, but there is something that says, like, generally speaking, in negotiations, the person who shows up in better shape wins.
Ooh.
Like that has been a psychologically proven thing that I was reading a paper on it, where it's like, if I show up and I'm negotiating with you and you're in better shape with me, you automatically have the upper hand in the negotiation from start.
Gym owners, what Dan just said, share that through every freaking channel you've got.
Something
like that. All right, so let's wrap this one up. For anyone that's listening, I think it's super important we're gonna beat this drum again, make it a part of the culture. It has to be part of the culture that everyone in your organization does. Even the gym owners need to be part of the culture. Don't just let the staff train within the classes. Host a workout, at your gym or even at another gym. It doesn't matter, but bring the entire staff together and go train as a staff.
Yeah, I mean, you want to like really milk this, like go to the neighboring gym and tell them like, hey, my team's going to be fitter than yours. Like, let's throw down once a month.
Yeah.
And then watch both teams get insanely fit.
Go get coached together. Go hold each other accountable. Make it a part of your culture, even if you are already a fit group, right?
Yeah, and guaranteed these will already be fit groups. But it's like, if you have a coaches meeting once a month, why not work out after together?
Yes.
Make it part of what you do.
Exactly. So train with your team periodically, and then I think a big one is celebrate it and set the example. We post our pictures, we give each other props, we hold each other accountable. You know what I think one of the sickest things is? Our engineering leader, Arjun. Yeah.
I don't know his exercise history before he joined PushPress, but he joined right around the time when I was saying, like, I want the world's fittest team.
Yep.
And every day he posts himself in the gym.
Every single day.
Every day.
And every day I make sure I put the little heart on it.
Exactly.
So he knows I'm watching.
Exactly.
Right? So make it a part of the culture and then celebrate it. Like, hey, dude, you're there after he was just at a wedding, right? It's like long night back in the gym. Yeah. I'm like, I can't love that enough, man.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, guys.
Another episode in the books.
Next time. Talk to you guys later.
Thanks for listening to another episode of the PushPress Podcast, where we help gym owners, entrepreneurs, and fitness enthusiasts thrive with actionable insights, inspiring stories, and strategies for growth.
Don't forget to follow the show to stay updated on new episodes. And if you're ready for more, join our free Facebook community for gym owners. Check the show notes for the link, and we'll see you next time. Keep raising the bar for your business and community.